Today's episode of Inside Gaming Daily is brought to you by Zombieland Double Tap. You can get tickets at the link in the description.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to Inside Gaming for Thursday.
It's for first day.
It's Bethesda Thursday.
That's pretty, that's way better. So Fallout 76 hasn't been the biggest success for Bethesda, to put it mildly, and yes, boy are we in for 10 minutes of just dunking on Bethesda. I'm sorry, love you guys, but damn it, you really stepped into it.
It's gonna be a good day. Yeah, it came out a year ago, and at the time it was ridiculed for being buggy and glitchy and kind of in like the same game, just kind of reskinned, but with like weird multiplayer stuff. I don't know.
How uncharacteristic for a Bethesda game. Bugs? Chairs halfway into the floor, barely being able to play the I never. The game launched with a whole laundry list of problems, including issues with lighting, NPCs being locked in the T-pose, game erasing bugs, texture problems, audio issues, rendering issues, floating enemies and buildings, and AI issues, and that's just to name a few. And don't forget heavy bobby pins and the whole canvas bag fiasco. Oh my god.
To be fair, the people were right to be angry.
So yeah, there were also complaints about stability issues and the game just being empty and boring and having no point, kind of like life. It's the best real-life simulation you'll ever see. Everyone's an ass. The world is empty, there's nothing to do.
It's extremely boring. Me and Conor had to play it like recently because he was trying to do a video on it, and that game.
They kept calling me Conor McGregor in the party chat though.
That had to feel good, except he's in jail? Or probably should
He
be?
threw something at a bus, but I think he walks a free man to this day.
Conor McGregor versus a city bus.
I'm so completely lost. But over the last 12 months, a dedicated community has hung on and squeezed as much fun as they could out of the game. Basically, most everyone else on the planet moved on.
Which, God bless you, I think any game that has like a really small, dedicated, pure fan base, it's just like, we just like this trash. Good for you. I celebrate anyone who appreciates trash. Bethesda decided on an interesting course of action this week. What did they decide to do, Patrick?
They are now asking their most loyal fans for more money.
Good call.
A lot more money.
Oh, a better call.
Hey, thanks for playing our busted game. Now, can you please subscribe to it? Please.
After all the hard
Any
hours.
amount helps. Anything you can do. If you could just please.
Have this half packet of peanut butter crackers, you want that?
Yeah, so in a blog post this week, Bethesda announced a new program, Fallout First, which they call a premium membership that offers something players have been asking for since before launch: private worlds for you and your select friends.
Wow, servers.
It's not even servers, though.
You and 7 friends, a whole 7, can have a whole post-apocalyptic, irradiated world all to yourselves.
I mean, if you guys scatter, you will never see each other.
Well, don't be so harsh. There are some other goodies too, like unlimited storage containers and survival tent. There's a fast travel point that you can put wherever you want. And there's even a fancy new ranger outfit and some unique icons and, wait for it, emotes. You can do this and this and this.
But you have to have like a deadpan face while you're doing it.
But the private server is the real selling point here.
Again, not a server. So it'll cost you $13 a month or $100 a year, which that's a lot.
That is a lot of coin.
Especially considering that functionality has been basically offered for free in most multiplayer games since the dawn of time. $3 more than Xbox Game Pass, which you can use to play The Outer Worlds, which was made by the guys who made the Fallout games back when they were good, Fallout 1 and 2.
Computer's restarting. I didn't touch anything.
What did you do?
I can pull it up on my phone, maybe.
Okay, yeah, that works.
I can try that.
Yeah, no, that laptop's getting weird. If you notice, the touchpad's bubbling up because the battery's
I did
starting to
notice
bloat.
that.
So it's gonna detonate one of these days, which is why I don't sit over there anymore.
Needless to say, the Fallout 76 community has not taken this news well, and a lot of it has to do with the features that were discussed in the past, but that now seem to be paywalled. Understandable.
I work out that. Yeah, you got that. Nice. Yeah, people pointed to a quote that Bethesda VP Pete Hines made last year about the game, where he said, "There's always going to be new content, changes in game balance, whatever it takes. And by the way, it's all free after launch. All our content, there's no season pass and no paid DLC." But then they forgot about a quote that he dropped this year where he said, "Psych!" and then like peeled off in his Ferrari, flying
Crashed into a telephone.
Pete Hines stumbles out, his blood coming out.
Everything is fine. It's okay. I'm trying to get to Bethesda.
The announcement tweet was ratioed into oblivion, and the game's subreddit, which used to be a community of the game's most ardent defenders, is now full of posts from angry players who feel ripped off after paying $60 for a game and are now being asked to subscribe on top of that.
Yeah, one post with more than 12,000 upvotes from Boss Zombie wrote that Fallout 76 is just becoming a mobile game at this point. Log in once a day to do your things and pay for shortcuts. I mean, nailed it. Can't hit that bullseye harder than that. Patrick, what else are people saying on Reddit?
Lots of people feel feel betrayed over this. User footballfan26.
I mean, he's 26 years old?
Or he was born in 1926, either way.
Back when it was good football and we wore leather.
Yeah, they defended this game multiple times, but I can't defend this new membership. Unlimited component stash space is the real dagger.
Storage issues have been a massive issue in Fallout 76 ever since the game launched.
Yeah, in the past, Bethesda has said that they had to limit storage for technical reasons, but apparently that's not really a problem anymore if you pay a little extra.
Bethesda did actually increase stash limits, but charging for unlimited space really gets under people's skins because, I mean, that is basically the one gate you have in any Fallout games, how much you can carry or stash.
Another poster, Evan from Mars, wrote, "Mark this day as the day Bethesda really proved they're not only idiots, but liars."
Escalation is intense here. So
Pop that clack clack sound in there.
yeah, clack, clack, bang. So what's worse is the fact that Bethesda recently delayed its big free update Wastelanders into the first quarter of next year. That's not so good, is it, Patrick?
Yeah, to a lot of fans, it kind of looks like Bethesda put a free update on the back burner just so it could get more revenue out of players first.
That might literally be true.
That's kind of what it seems
If
like.
they ran out of money, yes.
Yeah.
So, but the protest didn't just stop on Reddit. No, the internet grabbed its pitchforks and did what it does best.
Someone also seized the domain falloutfirst.com and turned it into a massive rant against Bethesda.
Oh, it's great. They kept the template of the Fallout First announcement, but instead turned it into a scathing parody. We got a Jonathan Swift on our hands.
Real Mark Twain.
At the end, they satirically wrote, "As with everything we do for Fallout 76, we'll continue to think of our bleeding bottom line first. Ignore your feedback and improve the pay-to-win services over the months and years to come."
Ooh, yeah. Blizzard should probably send Bethesda a Christmas present for taking the heat off them. I mean, this is how it always goes. Everyone's mad at something until somebody jingles keys over in the corner. What's that? We should note that Bethesda isn't alone in doing this. Other games do charge for private servers. You can rent a Battlefield 1 PC server for almost $300 a year. And most famously, Minecraft Realms charges up to $8 a month for you and up to 10 friends to share a world together.
But Minecraft Realms is a server and is always online, and the person who owns the server doesn't need to be there for others to jump in.
Yeah, and here's the big difference. Fallout First servers don't appear to be dedicated 24/7 servers, and the paying player has to be online for the server to be active or persistent. Oh boy, yeah.
Good God.
Yeah, you're paying nearly twice as much for less features. Some of this stuff seems to kind of be up in the air, but it does seem like right now it's not a persistent world. It's a private session of the game. So if everyone leaves, the session evaporates, and you can spool up another one, but all the stuff you did, it basically gets reset back to the default game state.
Obviously, private servers aren't free, but it definitely seems like Bethesda is trying to monetize the player base that it has left.
Not to mention a lot of games will give you the server for free. You just have to be savvy enough to set it up and forward your ports and all that. So yeah, Bethesda's never talked about how many copies of Fallout 76 they actually sold, but we know that it got a price drop in North America less than a week after its release. Ooh, which might make sense from a business perspective, but it was a slap in the face to fans who paid full price.
Yeah, it was similar to Anthem in many ways. A game we know well over here. An ambitious online game that launched with a ton of problems and almost immediately lost all of its followers.
We have some estimated data, right, Patrick? What are we looking at?
At the end of 2018, Superdata estimated that Fallout 76 sold 1.4 million digital copies. Not a lot for a AAA game.
No, or for a Fallout branded game.
Yeah, so Fallout 76 seemed to exemplify the worst parts of modern AAA development, developers shipping half-finished games and relying on the community to alert them of problems.
Almost immediately, some wondered if Bethesda would just abandon Fallout 76 after its tough launch, but they did stick with it for whatever credit that gets them. But now it's clear they want players to pony up more money.
But here's the kicker. Ow! The players who did sign up for private servers are already having issues.
No, Bethesda, no.
Yep. This is why we can't have anything nice. Yeah, there are already reports going around that the private servers aren't quite as good as they were advertised.
They weren't even advertised all that good.
Shocker.
So yeah, some people are reporting that they aren't private at all. Players with big friends lists report that they can't prevent people from joining their private servers, which goes against the whole idea of privacy. That's the one thing.
Others are finding that the alleged newly created worlds have dead NPCs and already looted junk inside.
I mean, that's pretty sick though.
$100 a year for a gently
Pull up a
used
new game and
server.
everybody's just face down on the ground in a pool of blood.
It's like getting a really good deal on a house and you go in and all the piping has been stripped out and the
Dead bodies crammed into the
there's a
walls.
crackhead living in the basement.
A bunch of players are also reporting that the supposedly unlimited storage containers aren't working either.
Yeah, it's apparently eating their items, never to be heard from again.
So at this point, it's yet another PR nightmare for a game that has had a ton of them already. I want to feel bad, but it's hard to.
Pretty much at every turn.
Everything.
I don't know that they've done a single thing that people were like,
Hey,
That's
Fallout
it.
76.
Yeah.
Fallout 76 might have bounced back somewhat from a bad launch, but trying to put the remaining players on a subscription plan pretty much just is the final nail in the coffin.
From our perspective, yes, but for the health of the game, it's gotta make money. And to that point, the game does have microtransactions, which means Fallout 76 may be at the point where it's not earning the money that Bethesda wants to see, or even enough to keep the staff on the game to continue to develop it. So yeah, Bethesda could be at the point where they need to further monetize the game to keep the lights on. Maybe that simple.
And yes, if the hair on the back of your neck is standing up, it's because Lawrence is about to run his corporate apologist shtick again.
No, I'm not.
Roll the tape!
Okay, so kind of. So I think this is dumb and stupid, both. But, and here's the but, I can see the business logic from Bethesda's side of things. That doesn't mean I think this is a good idea, all right? But just from Bethesda's perspective, and honestly, just from the landscape of it, the only people who are still playing Fallout 76 right now, those are the super engaged players. And if you're a business, what do you do when you have somebody super engaged? You monetize the shit out of them. Yes, it's sleazy, but that's business. So maybe this is just the Fallout 76 version of trying to find the whales and get more money out of them. And just like any whale-based overly monetized game, you don't have to buy it, but it might be at the point where, yeah, Bethesda can't justify having developers continue to develop free updates for this game just based on the microtransaction revenue alone. Also based on the fact that maybe the unit sell-through wasn't as high as they needed it or wanted it to be. So it really could be at the point where if they don't start selling these subscriptions, they won't be able to pay for people to keep working on the game and they'll just sunset it. I know that a lot of us would probably rather that Bethesda just send it out on a boat and set it on fire and bid farewell to it, but can you really blame them for trying to take a shot at making it make money for the people who want to play it, maybe?
I mean, they must have a big enough player base that it's sort of worth it, right?
Maybe not. We don't know.
Because I mean, there's no way they thought this move would attract new players, right?
No, that is not the idea. The move is purely of our player base that we currently have, maybe 10% of them are dedicated enough to want to pay for this, and maybe that's enough for us to continue paying the developers who are working on these updates, maybe even hire a few more. It's all about finding that cutoff where you have enough players to keep a game running, and they have to pay for it. You can't develop stuff for free forever. That said, I still think this is a boner thing. Like, you can't sell something that's broken, and that's kind of where the game started, and it seems to continue happening.
Country road,
Yeah.
take me home.
That was the good thing for Fallout 76. It introduced everybody to country roads.
To West Virginia.
Yeah.
West Virginia in the holler, yeah.
That was such a weird month when suddenly everyone was into truck rock.
Yeah.
Like Dusty Road Dad rock.
Best month of
Many
my
months
life.
for me.
It's finally happening!
The world is waking up. Today's episode of Inside Gaming Daily is brought to you by Zombieland Double Tap, and I promise if you go see it, you will watch the whole thing, it won't crash on you, and it will be a funny movie, which means it's already better than Fallout 76. There's a lot of buzz about how hilarious the movie is. It's currently the #1 comedy in America. It's the perfect Halloween event you don't want to miss. So go check out Zombieland Double Tap in theaters right now. The 4 characters from the first movie are coming back. That's Tallahassee, Columbus, Wichita, and Little Rock. But they say you don't have to see the first movie to enjoy the second. And there are new locations like the White House and Graceland. So it's a travel movie. It's fun, but with zombies. They got new vehicles, new types of zombies, so the rules done changed. But you can grab tickets to Zombieland Double Tap in theaters now at the link in the description. That's bit.ly/ZombielandTix. Once more, that's bit.ly/ZombielandTix to get your tickets for Zombieland Double Tap right now. Thank you, Zombieland Double Tap, for sponsoring our show, and thank you for enjoying quality entertainment like Zombieland.
I'm a sing.
That's the thing that should be done long before the game even ships. That's not even the worst part.
Then he dropped a bomb. Yeah, they're ditching the entire content roadmap for the game.
Why did they announce a roadmap that then just gets dissolved later? It feels like they announced the roadmap thinking that if we give players the promise that they might stick with the game. You might remember that before the game actually